the Lightroom workspace in the first lesson of this course. The workspace can also be customized to accommodate the way that you work, making it so the tools that you need are right there when you need them. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the workspace, including how you can customize it to fit your needs. We'll discuss how to toggle between screen modes, resize the application window, use a second window or view, resize panels, show or hide panels, expand and collapse panels, use loop view, dim the lights in Lightroom, edit the identity plate, and customize the side panels. Lightroom 5 allows you to toggle between 4 different screen modes. To toggle between screen modes, go to Window, Screen Mode. They are Normal, Full Screen with Menu Bar, Full Screen, and Full Screen Preview. By default, we're in the Normal Screen mode. Next, let's look at Full Screen with Menu Bar. As you can see, this screen mode makes the workspace take up the entire screen. The menu bar goes across the top of the screen, and you'll be able to see your Windows taskbar below the Lightroom window. Now let's look at Full Screen mode. The menu bar is hidden in this mode. Also, you're unable to see your Windows taskbar in this mode. You can also choose Full Screen and Hide panels. This puts Lightroom in full screen mode but hides all of the panels. In addition to the screen modes to alter the appearance of your workspace, you can also hide the toolbar by pressing T. Go to Window, Screen Mode, Next Screen Mode to go from one screen mode to the next. Press Shift-Tab once or twice to show all panels. And see a full screen preview of a selected image by pressing F on your keyboard. Let's return to Normal Screen Mode. As we stated in the last section, Lightroom is shown in an application window in this screen mode. We can resize the window by moving our mouse to the edge of the window. Our pointer will change to a double arrow icon. Next, we can drag to resize it. You can also click the Maximize button at the top right of the application window on a PC. When you do this, the window will fill the entire screen. You can open a second view either by using another monitor or by opening a floating window. The floating window can be moved and resized to meet your needs. To open a second window, click the second window button in the film strip. You'll then see the secondary display. In the secondary display, click Grid at the top of the window. The image selected in the main window is the image selected in the secondary view. You can use the thumbnail slider at the bottom right of the secondary display to change the size of the images. You can also use the scroll bar to scroll through your images. Next, click on Loop. Loop View displays the active image from Grid when Loop is in normal mode. In Live mode, the secondary display features the image that is under your pointer in the main window. In Locked mode, the image is fixed in the secondary display until you go back to normal or live mode. You can zoom in or out on an image in Loop View by choosing Fit, Fill, 1:1, or 3:1. These buttons are found at the bottom right of the secondary display. To compare images in the secondary display, click Compare at the top of the window. Then select 2 images from the main window. To use Survey, select 3 or more images in the main window after clicking Survey at the top of the secondary display. Close the secondary display by clicking the X at the top corner. If you're following along in Lightroom as you're taking this course, you'll want to go ahead and close secondary display. In Lightroom, you can resize panels to create more space for you to work. To resize a panel, move your mouse to the edge of the panel. Your mouse cursor will change to a double arrow. Drag out to increase the panel size and drag inward to decrease it. You can also choose to have the panels showing, or you can hide them. To hide them, click the arrow to the left of the panel, right of the panel, above the top panel, or below the film strip, depending on which panel you want to hide. To show the hidden panel, click the arrow again. If you look at the left panel, you'll see it's made up of individual panels, such as the Publish Services panel and the Collections panel. All these panels make up the left panel. They're what's called a panel group. In the last section, we showed you how to hide and show panel groups. However, you can also expand and collapse individual panels within a panel group. Here you can see the Collections panel is collapsed. You can tell that it's collapsed because the triangle to the left of Collections is pointing to the right. In addition, you can't see the tools and options that are in the Collections panel. When we click on the arrow beside the Collections panel, it expands. If you want to expand or collapse all panels in either of the side groups, Control-click on a PC in any of the panel headers and Command-click on a Mac. The header is where you see the name of the panel. You can also right-click on a header, then select either Expand All or Collapse All from the menu. To hide all panels except for the uppermost panel in either the left or side panel groups, right-click on a panel header and then select Hide All. To unhide the panels, right-click in the panel area and select Show All. We've mentioned Loop View several times already in this course. Now let's talk more about it as well as what it is. You'll use Loop View when you need to view your image at different magnifications. By using the Navigator panel on the left, you can switch between different magnification levels. You can choose between Fit, Fill, 1:1, or 3:1. These magnification options are shown in the top right corner of the Navigator panel. You can also choose another magnification option by clicking on the menu. You can also toggle between magnification levels. To do this, go to View, toggle Zoom View, or you can also press Z. By setting options for both grid and loop views, you can tell Lightroom what information to display for each of your images. To do this, let's go back to Grid View by pushing G on your keyboard. Next, go to View, View Options. You'll then see the Library View Options dialog box. Notice that there are two tabs in the dialog box, Grid View and Loop View. Make sure the Grid tab is active, then uncheck Show Grid Extras. We want to do this just for a moment to focus on the options you should already be familiar with thus far in the course. The options showing allow you to tint an image cell in Grid View with the color label color. We'll learn about color labels later in this course. It also allows you to see the tooltips that show the image name, capture date, time, as well as the crop dimensions. Now go back and recheck Show Grid Extras. All the options are active again. You can play with each of these settings to learn how it affects your image in Grid View. When you're finished, click the Loop View tab. The work area in Lightroom will switch to Loop View when you click on the tab. This way you can preview the changes made when you change options. Under this tab, you can put a check mark beside Show Info Overlay options to show image information in the top left corner of the work area. Under the Loop Info 1 and Loop Info 2 categories, you can decide which information is displayed. Then, by going back to Show Info Overlay, you can specify if Info 1 or Info 2 is displayed in the work area. Click the X at the top right of the dialog box to close it. If you haven't noticed by now, the interface in Lightroom seems dark. With the exception of the images, everything in the program seems tinted dark gray or black. Well, it's that way for a reason. That reason is so that you can focus on the image or images that you have open in the work area. You can dim the lights even further if you want by going to Window, Lights Out, Lights Dim. Or you can completely darken the workspace by going to Window, Lights Out, Lights Off. You can also push L on your keyboard to first dim the lights, then turn the lights off, and then bring them back on. Just continue to press the L key. If you want to change the opacity for the Lights Dim mode, go to Edit Preferences on a PC and Lightroom Preferences on a Mac. Then click on the Interface tab. In the Lights Out section, choose a screen color from the Screen Color menu. Next, choose a new opacity level from the Dim Level menu. In the first lesson, we showed you the identity plate that appears on the left side of the top panel. The identity plate can contain things like your name, your company logo, or anything else that personalizes the workspace and makes it yours. To edit the information and/or graphics in the identity plate, go to Edit Identity Plate Setup on a PC and Lightroom Identity Plate Setup on a Mac. You'll then see the Identity Plate dialog box. Make sure you choose Personalized from the Identity Plate menu. You can choose to either use text or a graphic for your identity plate. If you choose text, you can choose a font type, size, and color. To add text, simply select the text and start typing your own. If you want to use a graphic for your identity plate, select Use a Graphical Identity Plate. You can also customize the typeface for the module picker button. You can also add a decorative ornament to the bottom of individual panels and the side panel groups. To do this, right-click in the space below the side panels. Select Small Flourish from the Panel Endmark submenu. You can also use your own graphics as endmarks. Perhaps you want to use a small version of your company logo or a piece of clip art that you like. Any of these items can be used as endmarks to help further customize Lightroom for you. Here's how to do it. Right-click that same area again, go to Panel Endmark, go to Panel Endmarks folder. Open the folder by double-clicking on it. By default, the folder is empty. You can add any graphics you want to use as endmarks to this folder. To add graphic files to this folder, simply open another Windows Explorer or Finder window, then drag graphic files to the Open Panel Endmarks folder. Now when you right-click and go to Panel Endmarks, you'll see the new graphic we added to the folder. We can now use this graphic as an endmark.